Molly the milkmaid lived in a small, cosy cottage nestled in the heart of the countryside. It had a thatched roof and a pretty garden filled with vibrant flowers. Roses climbed up the walls, all pink and red, adding a touch of romance to the quaint setting. Every morning, the sun would peep through her window, casting a warm glow across her room. It would wake her with its golden light. Molly loved the mornings, especially the ones filled with sunshine. She would jump out of bed ready for the day, her heart brimming with enthusiasm. She was a cheerful girl, always humming a little tune as she went about her tasks. Her work was important, she knew, and she took it very seriously. She helped her mother and earned money for their home, contributing to the household with pride. Her most important job was milking the cows, a task she had mastered over the years. Then she would take the fresh milk to the market, a journey she looked forward to every day. People in the village loved Molly's milk, eagerly waiting for her arrival. They said it was the creamiest and the best, a testament to her hard work and dedication. Molly took great pride in this, knowing her efforts were appreciated. She always made sure her milking pail was shiny and clean, a reflection of her meticulous nature. She would scrub it with sand and water until it gleamed, just as her mother had taught her. Her mother had taught her how to do everything just right, instilling in her a sense of perfection. Today was a particularly bright and sunny morning, the kind that made everything seem possible. The birds were singing their happiest songs in the trees, filling the air with melody. The flowers in the garden seemed to nod their heads in greeting, as if acknowledging the beautiful day. Molly felt a special kind of excitement bubble up inside her, a feeling of joy and anticipation. Perhaps it was the sunshine, or perhaps it was the thought of market day and seeing familiar faces. She ate her breakfast of porridge and honey quickly, savouring the sweet taste. She picked up her clean, shining pail, ready to start her work with a smile on her face. Molly skipped out to the little meadow behind the cottage, her heart light and her steps even lighter. Daisy the cow was grazing peacefully there, her tail swishing lazily in the morning sun. Daisy was a lovely brown and white cow with distinctive markings that made her stand out in the meadow. She had big, soft eyes and a gentle moo that could melt anyone's heart. When Daisy saw Molly, she mooed softly, as if to say good morning, her eyes twinkling with recognition. Molly patted Daisy's strong, warm neck, feeling the steady pulse of life beneath her fingers. "Good morning, Daisy," she said kindly, her voice filled with affection. "Are you ready to give me some lovely milk today?" Molly asked, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Molly placed her little wooden stool beside Daisy, making sure it was steady on the soft ground. She put the shiny pail carefully on the ground beneath, positioning it just right to catch every drop. Then she began to milk the cow, her hands moving with practiced ease. Her hands moved rhythmically, squeezing and pulling gently, a dance she had perfected over time. Swish, swish, swish went the milk into the pail, a soothing sound that filled the quiet morning air. It was a comforting sound, one Molly had known all her young life, a melody of the farm. The milk was warm and white and foamy, a testament to Daisy's good health. It smelled sweet and fresh, like the green grass of the meadow, a scent that promised nourishment. Molly hummed her little tune as she worked, a song of contentment and routine. The pail began to fill up, the milk rising steadily with each rhythmic pull. Higher and higher rose the level of the creamy milk, nearing the brim of the pail. Molly was very good at milking, her hands moving with the skill of someone who had done this many times before. Daisy chewed her cud contentedly, flicking her tail to swish away any bothersome flies, enjoying the peaceful morning. Soon, the pail was almost full to the brim, a successful morning's work. Molly carefully lifted the heavy pail, ready to take it to the market, her heart filled with pride and satisfaction. Molly carefully carried the pail of milk out of the meadow. Her mother was waiting by the cottage gate. She helped Molly to lift the pail and balance it on her head. This was how milkmaids often carried their pails. It was easier than carrying it with her hands all the way. Molly was used to it. She stood up straight and tall. "Be careful now, Molly," said her mother. "Walk steadily and don't spill a drop." Molly nodded seriously. The path to the market was a little long. It wound through fields and past a little wood. Molly walked carefully, her eyes on the path ahead. The pail felt heavy, but she was strong. The sun shone down, and the birds sang. She could hear the gentle sloshing of the milk in the pail. Each step was measured, each movement considered. She knew the importance of delivering the milk safely. She imagined buying a new ribbon for her hair with the money she would earn. The thought of a new ribbon was nice, but then Molly had an even better idea. A much cleverer idea, she thought to herself. If she got a coin, a shiny silver coin, she wouldn't just spend it on a ribbon. Oh no, she had a far grander plan in mind now. A ribbon was pretty, but it wouldn't last forever. She wanted something that could grow, something that could multiply her good fortune. With that shiny coin, she decided she would buy a hen. She had seen Farmer Giles selling good-laying hens at the market before. One coin should be enough for a small, healthy hen. This hen would be her very own. She would build it a little coop in their garden. This hen, her very own hen, would surely lay eggs. She could sell the eggs at the market, turning one coin into many. Molly's thoughts raced ahead, faster than her feet on the path. With the money from selling the eggs, she wouldn't just buy ribbons or sweets. Oh no, her plan was much bigger now. She would use that egg money to buy another hen. Then she would have 2 hens, and 2 hens would lay even more eggs than one. Her little egg business would grow and grow. Soon, with all those eggs to sell, she would have enough money to buy a 3rd hen, and then a 4th. Before she knew it, she would have a whole flock of chickens. Her little coop would have to become a big chicken run. She would be known as Molly, the girl with the finest flock of chickens in the whole village. The initial single coin seemed so small now compared to the grand enterprise she was envisioning. She wouldn't just be Molly the milkmaid anymore. She would be Molly, the successful poultry keeper. With all the money from her thriving chicken and egg business, Molly's dreams grew even grander. She wouldn't just have a comfortable life, she would have beautiful things too. She thought about the clothes she could buy. No more simple cotton frocks for her. She would buy a dress made of fine silk. Perhaps a lovely green silk, the colour of new spring leaves, or a deep blue like the evening sky. It would rustle when she walked, and everyone would turn to look at her with admiration. She imagined herself walking through the village in her beautiful new silk dress. Her shoes would be new too, made of soft leather, not clumpy wooden clogs. She would wear a pretty bonnet adorned with ribbons and flowers. All the other milkmaids would be so surprised. They would look at her with wide eyes, wondering how Molly had become so prosperous and elegant. They would surely be a little bit jealous, she thought with a secret thrill. Goodness me, look at Molly, they would whisper to each other. Molly was so lost in her wonderful daydreams that she almost forgot she was walking to market. Her heart felt light as a feather, filled with the excitement of her future riches. She imagined the clucking of her many hens, the shine of her silk dress, and the envious glances of the other village girls. A happy little skip entered her walk, then another. Soon she was skipping along the path, the heavy pail of milk still balanced on her head. She felt so clever, so successful already, even though none of it had happened yet. It all seemed so real in her mind. I shall buy a green dress, she thought. No, a blue one. And then it happened. In the middle of a particularly gleeful skip and a proud toss of her head, Molly's foot caught on a large, unseen stone hidden in the dusty path. She stumbled. For a terrifying moment she tried to regain her balance, her arms flailing out to the sides. Her heart raced as she fought against the inevitable. But it was too late. Gravity had already taken over. The heavy pail of milk, so carefully balanced just moments before, wobbled precariously. It teetered on the edge of disaster. Then, with a sickening lurch, it tipped right off her head. Time seemed to slow as it fell. Crash! The pail landed on the hard ground with a loud metallic clang. The lid flew off, spinning away, and the milk, all that beautiful creamy white milk, gushed out. It poured like a river, unstoppable and relentless. It spread in a great white puddle all over the dusty path. The ground drank it up greedily. It soaked into the dry earth, forming muddy patches. The once dry path was now a mess. Not a single drop was saved. The pail lay empty, a silent witness to the disaster. All her morning's work, all Daisy's good milk was gone in an instant. Hours of effort wasted in a heartbeat. Molly stared in horror at the spreading white mess, her heart sinking like a stone. She could hardly believe her eyes. The bright sunny day suddenly seemed dark and gloomy. The joy of the morning was replaced by a heavy sadness. Her wonderful dreams vanished as quickly as the spilled milk. The future she had imagined was now just a distant hope. Slowly, sadly, Molly picked up the empty, dented pail. There was no point going to the market now. She had nothing to sell. With a heavy heart and tears streaming down her cheeks, she turned and began the long walk back home. When she reached her cottage, her mother was surprised to see her back so soon and with an empty pail. Molly couldn't hold back her sobs any longer. She told her mother everything. Her mother listened patiently, her expression kind and understanding. She didn't scold Molly, but gently wiped away her tears with her apron. "Oh, Molly, my dear," she said softly, stroking her hair. "It is good to have dreams, but you must not let them carry you away from the task at hand."